welcome to another edition of Medina Minute. Today we're sitting down with Jon Stahl from PJ Marleys to learn a little bit about the business and about Jon and his family and what brought them here. So Jon, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
So PJ Marleys, you've been open 2 years?
18 months.
18 months. How's it been?
It's been great. It's been great. We really enjoy it. My wife and I, Patty, she's the P, I'm the J, and we've had a great time.
Where's the B for the PBJ? That's the boys, right?
Yes, the boys.
So what made you decide to open a restaurant in Medina, Ohio?
Well, I was born and raised in Medina.
Okay.
Graduated from Buckeye a long time ago, but we had always talked about, once we had children, we moved back up here. We were down in Columbus. We met at Ohio State, and after we graduated, got married and stayed down there. And once we started having kids, we just wanted to move back up into community that we were comfortable in to raise our family.
Yeah.
And Patty loved Medina every time we visited, and I liked it, of course. So we just moved back home.
How is your background in restaurants, or is it just a passion? You guys have a passion for food and said, "Hey, let's open a restaurant and bar."
Well, I mean, I've had a little bit of background. Like my first job ever was actually I washed some dishes at the Gazebo restaurant, which was here in Medina a long time ago, back in the day. It was owned by neighbors of ours, the Bessemer family. And then at Ohio State, I started my college job was at BW3, the original Store One on Woodruff there in Columbus, and that's where I met Patty actually. And I was a manager there, and then ran the place for a while. But we had always talked about owning a restaurant sometime down the road, and after 4 boys and we were hitting our 40s, it's like we better do it now while we still have the energy to do it.
Sure. So I'm just curious, you guys have some very amazing burgers. How do you come up with your new ideas? Are you sitting around the backyard drinking a beer and like, we have this?
Well, it's years of field work. And I do a lot of research, and I've had a lot of burgers in my life, believe it or not. We've tried them out for years. And whenever we see something, or hear something, or think of something, so it can be in the backyard.
Sure.
It can be watching diners, drive-ins, and dives. It can be on a trip somewhere where it's like, those flavors would be really good together.
Yeah.
Trying stuff out new. Some of it's from our background. We have the kibasi burger right now.
Which sounds amazing.
I'm 50-50. My dad was 100% German. My mom was 100% Polish. So, kibasi, pierogi, sauerkraut, it's in my blood. On a burger, and it is quite good. Quite good.
It sounds amazing. That's one that I can't wait to try. So as part of your vision here, you bought this amazing historic building on the square. Mm-hmm. What was it that attracted you to this space itself?
I think just the first time we walked in it, you could sense the history of the building. Mm-hmm. It felt cool. Okay, the building's from 1891. When you walk in, right next to you is the night deposit from 1891. Looking into the vault, you've got the safety deposit boxes from 1891. We could look at it, and even though it was decorated from like the 80s and that, bank motif, we could tell, what we could do to the building, and we wanted to bring it back to its roots and what it was back in the day when it first opened up.
Yeah, which you really have. I mean, you've decorated it, somewhat period, and you kept that feeling of history. I love that people can make a reservation, eat in the vault. That's pretty cool.
We do have this period wallpaper on the wall. We do have a chandelier that's a period piece when you walk in. We do have an oak bar that looks like it's from, the bar back is from the early 1900s, awesome. And the bar's meant to match. So it does look like a place out of the past, but we do serve gourmet hamburgers.
Where did you find the bar back? I would think part of the fun of opening a restaurant, which may be also part of the headache, is finding the stuff that goes in it. Mm-hmm. So you have this massive moose head over the bar. Where do you find a moose head?
Mooses are us. It's a
that's up in Brunswick, right?
Yeah, actually, Tom Rollins was a taxidermist, and he was retiring, and he had that at his place.
Okay.
So
the moose are in Hinckley with the buzzards.
Yes, with the buzzards in Hinckley. I mean, we try to source, again, as much as we could locally, but I drove by his place, and he had a retiring sign, and I'm like, you know what? I wonder what he's got that we could put up. Because we wanted something different up there, and I walked in, and he had a moose head, and we struck a deal.
History. So where did you find the bar back then?
That was at the Medina Antique Mall.
Really?
So we walked around the Antique Mall quite a few times. It's a great place.
Yeah.
I love going there, and especially just to get ideas. But we saw it there, and we really liked it. And actually, the first thing was, we went to our carpenter and said, "Hey, can you reproduce this?" And he could, but it cost twice as much as it was to buy the original.
Probably,
so
yeah.
we bought that one, and it came out of a bar in New York, and it was built around 1900.
All right, so again, period piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't realize that you grew up here. But what is it about the square in Medina that is so quintessential hometown to you? What's your connection?
I just, really good memories from Medina and the square. Just either walking around, going to Medina Hardware, which has been there for years, is just a great experience. And there's so many new shops that you can try out, like, Antiquation. But just memories from the square. I remember when, getting out of school to come see a presidential candidate speak on the square.
Sure.
It was packed.
Yeah,
it was
I've
so
seen
awesome.
pictures of that. I love, in my office, I get to look out over the square and kind of have, a bird's eye view of what's going on. And I really love and appreciate that I see you out on the square a lot. I see you visiting the other shops or going to the local banks. What's important to you about keeping it local and being a sense of this community?
If you're going to have a business, you should be part of your community. Giving back to the community, working with as many groups as possible. We love working with the schools. Our art on the wall comes from Sidney Fenn Elementary and the relationship we have with them. And as far as knowing your friends and neighbors, that's just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And we're all in this together, basically. But when things happen in this business, and someone needed register tape the other day because they ran out of register tape, it's just nice to be able to go to a place and say, hey, can I borrow some thermal tape?
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Mm-hmm. If your life had taken a different direction, if you weren't owning and running PJ Marleys,
mm-hmm.
When you were growing up, what did you think, here's what I'm going to be, or here's what I'm going to do when I grow up?
Well, of course, I was going to be a professional football player and lead the Browns to their first Super Bowl.
Of course, and clearly that didn't happen.
Well, but it's still out there because someone needs to lead. But no, I thought that I would probably, work with kids some way, either teaching or coaching or doing something with that.
What's kind of your vision for the deck? Where do you want to see that evolve into?
Just a place where you can come, hang out under the stars or in the sun. We have a beautiful fountain that the city has there.
Yeah.
A little park setting, just a great view. Just have a good time. We'll probably try to do some music out there, but some laid back, unplugged type stuff. Sure.
What do you think is missing from town? What is it that we don't yet have in the district or in the city that you feel we need?
It would be nice if we could have more outdoor dining. That would be something. That's why we built the deck.
Sure.
It'd be nice to see, closer to the square, some smaller, apartments, condos, something like that. So more and more people. I love the people that live around the square, but there's never enough space for everyone who would like to live around here. This is almost like a small college town without the college,
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
And if you had just some more space available for them, and there might be some buildings available here and there, but just some more space. And the other thing, we get from our customers a lot is parking. That's always something that comes up, and it's just because a lot of people are not used to walking in today's day and age. But I've traveled a lot. I've been to a lot of small towns. And going to a college like Ohio State, you get used to walking. And it's like, for me, after spending time down there, parking and, walking a half a mile to class is not a big deal.
So let's bust that one right now. What is the golden ticket number of parking spaces needed in a 9-block district? What will
114.
Kill that? 114.
No, okay.
Because we have that times about 10.
Yeah, I know we do.
What is the answer for that? What do you think?
I don't even know if there is an answer for that, because I think we do a good job. A lot of people don't understand the parking we have in the city because it's not right out in front of them. But if you go right behind the courthouse, and that is less than
half a block away.
Yes, if there's plenty, there's always spots there.
Yeah.
The county administrative building, which after 5 o'clock and weekends you can park, that again is like half a block away, and it's just I think it's more of a communicating to people that they are there, and it's not the one thing beauty part of the square is you get to walk around the square and see the great shops.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know the shops that we have around the square. There's a Polish pottery place going in right down the street, which I have just been waiting for. And it'll be great, but that's another destination point that they need to go to. And you just got to get out and walk and experience it. Something's popping. These are cool little shops that you go into, and a lot of people don't even know they're there. There's that shaving place, which
completely hidden.
Yeah, Santa
amazing.
brought me some stuff from there, and I had no idea it was there.
Yeah.
And I walk the square at least once, twice a week, and
awesome.
you just have to find out what's there.
Do you ever get downtime? Like, how do you, as Jon, just disconnect and get back to yourself? Are you a reader? Are you a hobbyist? Do you go in the corner and shake and drink a beer real quick?
I read a ton.
What do you read?
Everything. John Grisham, David Weber. I read a ton, and I probably have like 2,000 books at home.
Wow.
So
maybe a lending library in Marleys?
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be really cool.
Do people call it Marleys? They call it PJs? What's
everything? We've heard PJs, we've heard Marleys, we've heard PJ Marleys. So
what do you guys call it?
We call it
that place.
No, we call it PJ Marleys. And Marley was our dog, so Marley rolls off the tongue pretty nice. For us. We had him for 17 years, and he was a good boy.
Yeah. What's the future for PJ Marleys? Is this a one-time deal? Do you ever see it growing into multiple locations, or is this it, family-owned, or staying here?
I see PJ Marleys being in this location because it's so much a part of the building, so much a part of the square. It's great. Whether there's another restaurant down the road, it probably wouldn't be to PJ Marleys, because this is so unique. It might be something that's a slightly different concept, something that maybe Medina needs down the road, or something to look at. But there might be something else coming to Medina, but this would be the only PJ Marleys we have.
Gotcha.
And we'd want to stay local because it's such a beautiful town.
Yeah.
And it's a 10-minute drive to work, which is awesome.
True. And you've really kind of pushed the envelope in that you guys have late hours. You're open Sunday evenings. How has the community responded or supported that? Because it kind of feels like you drive through on a weeknight at 9 o'clock and sidewalks are rolled up, except for you.
It's we have a very loyal late night following. It's one day part we definitely want to grow, but we want to be there for people because we know there's nothing out there. Whether it's during the week and at 10, 11 o'clock you want a good home-cooked type hamburger or a place to go where you can meet with some friends, listen to the jukebox or whatever, this is the place to go.
Yeah, interesting. I know that you guys are very creative as far as participating in events and holidays. St. Patrick's Day was pretty big for you. I had the joy of being here and trying the Reuben fries, which were amazing. I'm still talking about them. But what's the one that you really want to focus on or see grow?
Funny you should say Dingus Day.
What is Dingus Day?
Dingus Day is a Eastern European, typically Polish holiday, and it's the day after Easter.
Okay.
So it's a celebration of the end of Lent, the restrictions of Lent, and just let yourself go and have a good time.
So it's like the punchki day after you get through everything, then you get to go back and eat all that bad stuff and
everything that you gave up during Lent, just let it go, have a good time.
All right, that makes more sense.
Cleveland does a great job of the event that they had. I believe close to 30,000 people, and we've done it for 2 years. We've had smaller crowds here, but we like to grow it a little bit and just get more involved. It's just a fun event. You get to try different foods, so people that have never had a pierogi or.
It's fun to say.
Yeah.
I mean, Dingus.
Dingus Day.
That could go so bad. Jon, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure hearing about you in the restaurant and learning a little bit more about you guys. I really appreciate the time.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Dingus.
Dingus.